Welcome, everyone. You've reached Grandmama, and we're covering the WNBA games that were played Saturday on August 23rd. And the season is coming to a close quickly here. And teams are positioning themselves for the playoffs, and it's getting really exciting. So this game, we had the Aces traveling to Washington, D.C. to take on the Mystics. And the Mystics started out great. I mean, they had, at one point in the first quarter, they were up 23-9. But then the Aces, right towards the end there, they hit a couple of hoops and got that lead that they had. It was more than 10 points that the Mystics had. And the Aces just nullified that in a matter of like 2 minutes. And by this early in the second quarter, they were, I think it was 4 minutes into the second quarter, they were even and started to go ahead. And then they outscored them for the rest of the game. And the Mystics were definitely in the fight. And, it was a competitive game. The Aces never built, any kind of huge lead against them. And, the Mystics were running, and a lot of the stats were similar. The biggest difference is the Aces shot like 50% from three and just overall. And the Mystics didn't. And that basically boils down to the difference in the game and why the Aces won. And A'ja Wilson did her thing, and the Aces get a win 91-81 over the Mystics. So you had the first quarter, 26-19. That was like 9. So they scored like 10 points in the last, I think, 2 minutes of the first quarter to cut that lead into, down to, 7 points. Because it was, 13 or 14 points it got up to. But then the Aces outscored them 25-13 in the second and just erased that lead and took over. And then they outscored them. I mean, it was close the rest of the way. 24-22 in the third and 23-20 in the fourth to get the 91-81 win. So the Aces are now tied for third, I believe, with Phoenix, because the Liberty, they were very shorthanded and lost to Atlanta. So Atlanta's in second, and then you have the Aces and the Mercury with 14 losses, tied for third. And I'm pretty sure they're playing each other, so that ought to be a good game. And the Mystics dropped to 16-21. The Mystics had more points in the paint, 38-24, and more second chance points. But the rest of the way was pretty much even. Same number of turnovers, points off turnovers. The Mystics, the Aces had gotten up to like an 18-point lead at one point, but that didn't really last very long. The Mystics came right back after that. And the Mystics has had a 15-point lead. So if you look at scoring, the Aces, A'ja Wilson, 36 points. She had 2 blocks, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, and 13 points. 13 rebounds. She was 7 for 8 from the foul line and 14 for 22 overall. And she was 1 for 2 from 3. But most of her shots are within 5 feet. Sometimes she'll take those at the foul line, like it's just a short mid-range shot. Those are open for her. I'd be taking them too. Kirsten Bell hit a 3. She had 2 assists and 2 rebounds. Melissa Smith, she hit a couple of key buckets for them. 8 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. She was 4 for 5. Jackie Young had 10 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. She didn't shoot very much. She was 3 for 9, 1 for 2 from 3, and went to the foul line 3 times. Chelsea Gray, she didn't really need to score so much in this game. She had 5 points. She had 2 blocks, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. And she was 3 for 4 from the foul line. But she only took 3 shots in the game. But Dana Evans, She's been a little spark plug for them. It's like the difference between the first half of the season and the second half of the season isn't so much. I mean, Asia Wilson had a couple of bad games early on, but it was mostly the other players that have made the difference in the Aces. Like you're getting contribution, especially Chelsea Gray. She looks like herself again. And then you have Dana Evans. Early in the season you had Aaliyah Nye, although she isn't playing much now. But Dana Evans has kind of taken over those minutes. And then Jewel Lloyd, she didn't score that much in this game, but she's been shooting better. And Jackie Young and Asia Wilson have been playing, they've been their mainstays for the most of the season. But in other years, they had Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum. So they had a four-headed monster, basically. And this year, now that's finally starting to come around with Chelsea Gray is getting back to her normal self, and Jewel Lloyd is pitching in. But they're also getting help from Nalissa Smith and Dana Evans. And Kirsten Bell has had a few games hitting threes. So they're getting contributions from other players that are making them harder to beat. So, Dana Evans, 21 points. She had 3 assists, 3 rebounds. She was 5 for 6 from 3 and 8 for 11 overall. And then, let's see, Aaliyah Nye had, she got in the last minute in 31. Her and Kia Stokes, neither of them scored. So the Aces shot 52% and 50% from 3. They were 10 for 20 from 3. Rebounds were even, 34. But the Mystics, they shot 43% and only 28% from 3. So the Aces made 10 threes. They only made 4, the Mystics. So there's your difference in the game. So the Mystics had 3 players in double figures. It was a strong game for Kiki Iriafen. 21 points for her, 15 rebounds. That was a lot she was fighting hard under those boards. But she had some turnovers. She had 5 turnovers. Citron, she was 4 for 5 from 3, 13 points. She had a steal, a turnover, 3 assists, and a rebound. Shakira Austin, she was 5 for 10 and 8 for 12 at the foul line. She had 18 points. She had 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Alicia Clark had 6 points. She had a couple nice hoops, cutting to the basket and getting some layups there. That was nice to see from her. I've always liked her. I liked her when she was on the Aces. I liked her when she was on the Storm, and now she's on the Mystics. I had never even known she had played for the Mystics in the past. So I learned that one when she got traded. And she had 5 rebounds. Shug Sutton, she didn't shoot very well. She was 2 for 10. 4 points. She had 3 turnovers, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. Jade Melbourne, she only took 2 shots. She made a hoop. So she had 2 points. She had 2 turnovers, 6 assists, and a rebound. Lucy Olsen, 6 points. She was 3 for 5. Stephanie Dolson had a foul shot. Emily Inksler, 8 points. She had, that's weird. They had put up a stat that she had a block and a steal in like so many games. I forget what the number was, but I guess that streak ended because she didn't get a block in this game. But she got a steal, turnover, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. She was 3 for 8 and 2 for 2 from the foul line. And then Madison Scott played 3 minutes. She hit a hoop. Oh no, she 2 points from the foul line. So she had 2 points and a steal. So that rounds this one out. It looks like the Mystics are going to be out of it unless because you have 3 spots. You have 6, 7, and 8 in the playoffs that 4 teams are vying for. You have, and I mean, you can include the Mystics, but they're starting to drop off. They've lost a few games. You have Indiana, the Valkyries, Seattle, and the Sparks. But I was looking at the schedule. They all have tough schedules. All those teams, especially Indiana, is going to be taking some losses. They have to play Minnesota 2 more times. They play like the Sparks, they play the Storm, they play the Valkyries, they play, I think the Aces also. They're going to have a tough time staying in the playoffs. But there's only 3 spots. So, if, for instance, the Mystics were to win, the Mystics would have to win out, and other teams would have to take some losses, which they're gonna, because you have the Sparks playing the Storm, and the Indiana is playing both of those teams. So, there's going to be some losses, but they're 3 games ahead of them. The Valkyries, Sparks, and Storm have 18 losses. So they're already 3 ahead. So they would have to lose a lot, and then Washington would have to win out. But I haven't yet looked at Washington's remaining schedule. I don't know if that it would be possible. But it'd be fun to see if it happened, if they'd be vying for one of those spots for the last, 8 games or so. But Washington's been a nice surprise and a fun team to watch. And the Aces are looking as strong as they've ever looked. So we'll see how that goes once we reach the playoffs. But that's it for this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.